Hey everyone, if you found this video, we either attended my second class of the Myth of Aging series and this is your homework, or you found us on YouTube because you have abdominal pain, you're dealing with trauma, issues breathing, high blood pressure. Any of these exercises that are simple and focused can definitely help. So I'm going to run through them real quick. The class typically takes an hour, but I'm going to show you a shortened version of all the movements. When you're live at one of my classes, whether it's in person or via Zoom, you're able to ask more questions and go about, learning things for your personal body. So if you have questions, please comment and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So we're going to start with the most iconic somatic movement, which is the arch and flatten. If you notice, I'm laying on the ground. I'm not laying on a mat. And actually, here, I'm going to adjust this just a tad so we're not so bright. You can see a little bit better. Okay, this is a little bit better. So we're going to start with the arch and flatten. All that is rolling the hips to arch the back, and then we're going to be opening the back. So this is really to focus on opening up the mid-body as well as the back and abdominal muscles. So you're going to lay on the ground or a mat, something with a good hard feedback that still is comfortable. And all it is a deep inhale in. We're going to arch our back slowly. And most importantly, with every somatic movement, the most important part is the release. So then we're going to release slowly with an exhale. So I'll do that again for you. Inhale. I'm lengthening my belly in the front of my spine as I'm contracting my back muscles, and slowly exhale. Remember, slower the better. That way your brain has to focus on regaining control all the way down to neutral. Let it melt. And then inhale in neutral and exhale out. And then you're going to use that exhale to tuck. So now we're contracting everything in the front body all the way from the pubic bone to the sternum, teaching it how to contract while simultaneously opening up the full back in the posterior. So I'll do that again. Deep inhale in. Arch the back, press the tailbone down into the floor, slowly exhale. And release. Inhale in neutral. Exhale out and start your tuck. So tuck, 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 tuck. And then slowly inhale and release. Okay, so you're going to do that about 5 times just to warm up the back. Then we're going to go into the arch and curl. So this is going to help us regain control of our abdominal muscles by completely contracting them, because if you're just doing the arch and the flatten, you're not getting up to the top part of the sternal abdominal muscles. So this is going to allow you full control of those abdominal muscles. So it's going to be a deep inhale in with the arch again. And I want you to notice as you arch this time that you actually feel pressure in the back of your head into the hands, because we're not just extending and contracting the low back, we're extending the upper back as well. The whole spine is contracting. And then slowly exhale. Inhale in neutral. Exhale, and then you're going to start your tuck. As you're tucking, bring those elbows in. So tuck, 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 tuck. And then use your top abdominal muscles to just lift your head up slightly off the ground and slowly release. Simultaneous. See how I'm simultaneously releasing the head and the pelvis. So we're going to do that one more time. Inhale in. Exhale out. Let that back fall. At home, go as slow as you can. Kind of going a little rushed through it just for the purpose of this video. Inhale in, exhale out, start to tuck, 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 and then slightly lift that head up using your abdominal muscles and slowly, simultaneously ease off. So you're going to do that about 10 times at home. This is really going to take control of the abdominal muscles. And then what we're going to do is it's great to do everything bilateral, but we also need to teach our bodies how to work independently as individual sides and all range of motion. So we're going to go ahead and start with the same side arch and curl. So it's the exact same movement, but what I want you to do, take your left hand, grab your right knee. My right hand is behind my head, and I'm going to arch my back with an inhale. See how my knee naturally presses out as I arch my back. Slowly exhale. Inhale in and neutral. Exhale and start to tuck, 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 just like before. So tucking, you can see how my knee follows my tuck and it gets closer to my chest. So the abdominal muscles are my driver. Then I'm going to bring my elbow in, and when I've tucked as much as I can, use my abdominal muscles to bring my elbow to my knee. So I'm specifically opening up the right side of my back, simultaneously contracting my abdominal muscles and regaining control of the front and the back of the body. So I'll show that again. Inhale in, arch the back. I'm opening up the full front body. I can feel every muscle in my back contracting on the right side. Very, very focused. We're making neurological changes here that are more permanent than your typical stretching. We're re-educating the body how to take control. So slow, slow, slow. Inhale in neutral. Exhale out, start to tuck, 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 tuck. Use those abdominal muscles to draw that knee towards the chest, and then bring that elbow towards the knee to open up that back, and slowly, simultaneously release that flatten in the back and the curl, and then you're going to let it drop. So I want you to do that at home about 5 times each side. What you're going to notice is probably going to have one side that's a little bit worse than the other. If you feel like you do, just spend a little bit more time on that side that's having trouble. That means that your brain needs that extra time to re-educate it and let go of that tension that's been there probably for a very long time. So you're going to do that both sides. So now what we're going to do is we're going to move over to the diagonal arch and curl. So we don't just move sideways like this with our abdominal muscles. We also move diagonally. So it's going to be the same thing, except you're going to use your right hand to grab the right knee. You're going to take the left hand behind the head, and we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to go diagonal. So deep inhale in, arch the back, feel that knee move. And now I really want to focus on when I go into my curl, I'm going to release this arch first. What I want to focus on is opening up the space between the left shoulder blade and the hip, while simultaneously engaging the abdominal area between the left shoulder and the right hip. So I'm going to inhale in and neutral, exhale out and start my tuck, tuck, tuck. I'm really focusing on engaging that front body. So I'm thinking about bringing my left shoulder towards my right hip, and then I slowly release that. So what I'm doing here as I slowly release this is I'm re-educating my abdominal muscles how to fully release. See how even at the very bottom, I'm going slow. I'm going to let my body melt into the ground because my abdominal muscles need full control on how to fully contract, but then slowly relax. If you do a quick movement like this, where you're like, okay, I just want to rush it, you're not fully releasing and taking control of the abdominal muscles. So make sure you go slow. That's really important. Okay, so now what we're going to do, you do that about 5 to 10 times each side, is we're going to do a full flowering arch and curl. So we are going to teach our bodies how to completely open, and how we do that is we're going to be adding the legs to the scenario. So I really love imagery. So I like to imagine that I'm a flower petal or a flower blossom opening and closing. So if you can throw that visual in your mind as you're doing this and close your eyes and really feel that first person perspective of your discomfort in your body, it can really help your brain grasp onto something, and you can make changes more quickly. So go ahead, and we're going to go through the first cycle. So my knees are going to actually be a little bit closer this time, my feet as well. And as I arch my back, I'm going to inhale in and let my legs open up like that flower blooming. Everything in my back is contracting. Everything in the front of my body is opening up. And then I'm going to exhale, release that arch, close those legs. Okay, now here's the fun one that takes a lot of abdominal control. I'm going to inhale in, exhale out, Start to tuck, 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 tuck. Squeeze my knees together as I'm doing this. Lift my head up. And now I'm really contracting everything in my front body, my abdominal muscles, my inner thighs. Everything is contracting. Everything is opening up in the back. And then I'm going to slow and simultaneously let my body go back to the ground. My knees are naturally going to fall open a little bit and let it rest. So now we've contracted everything. Let's open everything back up. Deep inhale in, arch the back. That flower is blooming. And slowly exhale out, bringing everything back to the middle. Inhale in, exhale out. Use that exhale to drive the engagement of the abs. Squeeze those legs together, bringing your head up off the floor, closing that flower. And then slowly, gently open up. And you're going to do this movement about 10 times as well. This is called the full flowering arch and curl. So already you've done several moves that are going to really help you become more mobile in your mid body. It's also going to help with stress. It's going to help with blood pressure, and it's going to help breathing. It's going to help a lot of issues. They've shown that actually if we release the physiological response to trauma, it can help trauma and stress and anxiety in our mental state 50% because we're relieving the physical response to it, which unfortunately a lot of us sit at desks nowadays and we work in front of us and we end up getting a stooped posture like this. Well, our bodies are really funny. So as you're doing that, you're teaching your body to curl forward and it gets used to that. Well, as a response, your body thinks that that's a trauma response. So it's going to raise your blood pressure. It's going to make it harder for you to breathe because think about if you're running away from danger. You're going to be using your survival breathing, which is your chest breathing, not your diaphragmatic recovery breathing. So we're training ourselves every day to be stressed. So doing something like this about once or twice a week to reset your body can really make lifelong changes as far as your overall physical and mental health. So the last move I'm going to show you is just a somatic cat-cow. So a typical cat-cow, you're in yoga, you're just going to cow down, putting that booty up in the air and then bringing it back to tabletop, and then you're going to tuck like this, and we're going to create the cat, right? Okay, so with a somatic cat-cow, what I want you to do is really imagine your spine being a part of the whole movement. So I'm going to do exact same movement that I've done before, which is the arch and flatten, but I'm going to do it in this posture. And so it's going to be a deep inhale in, arch the back. Notice how I'm bringing my neck up because I want to contract everything in my back. Slow exhale out, back to tabletop. And this feels really good once we get to tabletop. Take that inhale in, exhale out, and start that tuck, tuck, tuck. So imagine you're on the ground, press your palms into the ground, roll your neck and chin towards the chest. And then as you inhale, slowly release that. Inhale in, arch the back. I'm opening up everything in my front body, contracting everything in my back body. Slowly, gently exhale. Back to tabletop. Inhale in, exhale out. And we're going to now contract everything in the front, opening everything at the back. But then we're going to release everything in the front as we melt. And inhale in, back to tabletop. So I am turning into a bowl with my arch. And I'm turning into a C with my cat. So use those visuals to help. Then after you do this, you can go ahead and get on the ground and do a little bit more arching and flattening just to get your back warmed up to get back up and on with your day. So again, do all these moves real slow. The focus is contracting and opening the abdominal muscles to allow better breathing, less trauma response, and to really start that whole journey of healing that area for long-term results. So if you guys have any questions, please leave them in the comments, and I will see you next time or in my next class. Have a great one.